Good evening, guys. I am Basudev. I welcome you all in this AICET sponsored Prerna Gate Scheme for SCST students organized by Balapur Institute of Technology. Today is our second session and it's going to be on the topic of time, speed, and distance. So, once again, we are preparing for GATE 2022 exam. And in today's session, we are going to see about the time, speed, and distance. So, guys, first we will be getting in for the important topics. So, one of the important topics, as we have seen in the yesterday's content, is quantitative aptitude. In that, one of the important topics in which GATE is planning is for time, speed, and distance. So, sure short question will be there in that so so what is the unit of distance? So unit of distance we can measure. So if we are going from the smaller value to the larger value, so in smaller values, using the metric things, we'll be saying it as meters, and larger value is equal to kilometer. So how do you convert any kilometer to meter? So by multiplying it by 1,000. So 1 kilometer is equal to how many meters? If they ask, if you just multiply it by 1,000, you will be getting the amount of meter. And if you want to come it in the vice versa manner, so from meter to kilometer, if you want to convert it, you will be dividing that value by 1,000 so that how many kilometers you can easily get it. Our next thing is time. So what is the unit of measuring time? So unit of measuring time will be in terms of second and minutes and hours. So how do you convert from one to another? So if you want to convert a number of hours in terms of minutes, so you will be converting it in terms of into 60, and minutes in terms of seconds will be like in terms of multiplying it by 60. And if you want to convert in the vice versa manner, which is like seconds to minute, then it will be like dividing it by 60, and minute to hour, once again, it is like dividing it by 60. And unit of speed. So before getting into the unit of speed, so how is speed is being calculated? Speed is given by the formula distance by time. So most of you know this, and based on this logic, if we go for the unit of speed, if we are having smaller values in distance as meter and a smaller value in terms of time, then the unit of speed in the smaller value will be in terms of meter per second. And similarly, if we go for larger values, so kilometer, and in terms of time, it will be in terms of hours. So in that case, speed can be calculated through kilometer per hour. And here also they can be asking you in some questions how to convert kilometer per hour in terms of meter per second. So how do you convert this? So whenever we are trying to convert meter to kilometer to meter, it is like into thousand, and hour to seconds. So first we have to multiply it by 60 so that you will get it in minutes. And once again, it has been multiplied by 60 so that it will be converted into seconds. In that case, if you try to cancel it, you will get it as 5 by, and if you cancel this value, so you'll get it as 18. So whenever kilometer per hour is being multiplied with 5 by 18, the resultant value will be in terms of meter per second. And similarly, if we go for the other thing, so meter per second to kilometer per hour, how do you convert this? So whenever it is like meter to kilometer, so we'll be dividing it by 1000. So this 1000 will be coming in the bottom, and meter to hour means, so it is like divided by 60, and that will be converting it in minutes. And minutes once again divided by 60, you will be getting it as hours. So it is like something like 3600. So it will be like, if you cancel it, 18 by 5. So whenever you try to multiply any meter per second in terms of 18 by 5, the resultant will be in terms of kilometer per hour. So this will be the basic things you have to know in terms of units. And if you try to give the connection between this time, speed, and distance, speed is directly proportional to distance. So that whenever the speed is being increased for a particular time, that means like in case of this, so if time is constant, so when the speed is increased, automatically the distance traveled will also be increased. And if speed is decreased, the distance travel for the constant time will be decreased. So that in this case, time is should be constant. And if you try to keep the constant as distance, so speed and time are inversely proportional. So if I try to keep the distance as constant, speed will be always inversely proportional to time. That means whenever I try to increase the speed, so time duration will be decreased. And whenever I try to reduce the speed for the same distance, time taken will be increased. Yeah, so that is how it works. And last case, if you try to keep the constant as speed, so distance and time will be directly proportional. That is like distance will increase, time taken will also be increased, and if distance is decreased, time taken will also get decreased. Yeah, so this will be the basics of time, speed, and distance. Based on this, there will be few questions and answers. So that will be going for the questions. In that, first question is, so we try to go for the conversions or like based on simple problems. Assume that you are participating in a race and driving at an average speed of 180 kilometer per hour. What will be the distance covered by you in 2 hours? So they were asking for distance. So we know that distance is being given by speed into time taken. So in the first case, speed is like 180 kilometers per hour, and the time taken is like 2 hours, means into 2. will give me a distance as 360 kilometer. And in case of second one, the distance is said as constant. So in that case, 180 into 5 hours. So it is going to be somewhere like 900 kilometers. And in case of third one, so it is like 180 kilometer per hour is the speed, and time duration is like 35 minutes. If you directly try to multiply between 180 into 35, then you are wrong in it. So what should happen here? So in this, the time taken or the speed of this is given in terms of kilometer per hour. So time taken should also be in terms of hour, or this thing should have been converted in terms of minute. So in such cases, better we try to convert this as hours. So in that case, so how do you convert a minute to hour? So by dividing this value in terms of 60. So if you try to cancel it, you will get it as 3, and 3 into 35, you will get it as 105 kilometers as the distance here. Yeah, hope you guys are converting it and getting the right answers also. And moving on for the next one. For the same data means speed being at the same 180 kilometer per hour. What will be the time taken by you to cover this distance? So distance is being given here. So they were asking for time taken. How do you calculate it? So time taken is being given by distance by speed. So in this case, first one 540 kilometer is the distance, and they were saying the speed as 180. So in such cases, it will be taking like 3 hours. And in the second case, it is like 60 is the distance and divided by 180. So you can say it as 1 by third of the hour. Or else, if you want to say this in terms of minutes, so how do you convert this hour into minutes? So it is nothing but into 60, so which is like 20 minutes. So either of the answer is right. So we can write it as 1 by 3 hours or 20 minutes. Based on the answer choices given to you, so we'll be answering it. So in the next case, it is like 15 kilometers divided by 180 kilometers. So you will get the value as 1 by 12 hour. Or else if you try to convert it, it is nothing but just 5 minutes. So from the answer choices, we'll be marking the answers based on our answer choices. And in case of the last one, so it is like 800 meters out of 180 kilometer per hour. This is where the problem is. So here it is in terms of meter per meter, and it is in the speed is in terms of kilometer per hour. So either this has to be converted in terms of meter, or this has to be converted in terms of meter per second. Yeah. So in that case, if I'm trying to convert this as meter per second, so how do I convert it? 180 kilometer per hour. So into what will give me as a meter per second? Yes, guys. So it is nothing but 5 by 18. So if I try to calculate it, so this 18 and this will be like 10 times. 0 will get cancelled and you will get it as 16 seconds. So 16 seconds will be the answer. Yeah. So if they have asked you in the question as in terms of minutes, so you will be converting that seconds into minutes, and based on that, you will be trying to answer it here. And moving on for the next question. So what they were saying here. So if you travel 210 kilometer from town A to town B at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour, and from there to town C at a speed of 70 kilometer per hour for another 140 kilometer, then what is the average speed during the entire journey? So this will be your next type of question. So in this question, they were what they were asking for. Yeah, they were asking for the average speed of the journey. So how do you calculate average speed? So average speed is given by total distance by total time taken. Yeah. So in this case, what they were saying, from town A to B. So what is the distance they have mentioned? So it is like 210 kilometers. And what is the speed he is traveling at? So it is like 30 kilometer per hour. And in case of second one, from there to C means, so it is from B to C. He is traveling a distance of 140 kilometer and at a speed of 70 kilometer per hour. Then what is his average speed they have asked? So average speed, as we have already mentioned, so it is like total distance by total time. So from the given point, we can easily calculate the total distance as 210 plus 140, so which is going to be like 5 3 for 50 kilometers. But look into this carefully, guys. So they have mentioned speed and they have not mentioned the time duration for it. So first, we have to calculate the time duration for this thing. Then only we can solve it. So time duration is given by distance by speed. So in that case, 220 divided by 210 divided by 30, you will get it as 7 hours. And in other case, 140 kilometer divided by 70 kilometer per hour. So you'll get it as 2 hours. So totally it is going to be like 9 hours. So in terms of average speed, if you're trying to calculate, so distance will be like 350 divided by 9. You will get the average speed as 38.88 kilometer per hour. So that is how average speed is being calculated using this. Yeah. So similar kind of problem we are going to see next. So what they have mentioned in this problem. If you travel from your house to office at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour and return home at a speed of 70 kilometer per hour, then what is your average speed? So in this case, once again, average speed they have asked. So as like in the previous question, so average speed is given by total distance divided by total time. And what they're saying is like in the first case, he is traveling from house to office, and speed they have mentioned as 30 kilometer per hour. And in the second case, he is trying to travel from office to house at a speed of 70 kilometer per hour. But seeing this, you can say very careful, very easily. So here the distance is being missing, and time duration is also missing. So what we can do in such kind of questions? So in this kind of questions, we know that the distance to be traveled is like from house to office and office to home. So this is going to be somewhat same. So one way of approaching this is we can assume a value for this distance and solve it. So assuming means you can't assume any random values. Uh, we have to take LCM values for the given speeds. So for the given speeds, LCM, if you try to calculate, so you'll be getting it as 30 and 70. If you try to calculate the LCM, you'll be getting it as 210. And we try to keep 210 kilometers as the distance in terms of both the places. So from that, we try to calculate the timings. So speed is 30 kilometer per hour and distance is like 210 kilometers. So timing will be like 210 divided by 30. You will get it as 7 hours in the first case. Uh, in the second case, it is like 210 divided by 70. You will get it as 3 hours. So total distance is going to be somewhere like 420 kilometers, and total time duration is being like 10 hours. So in such case, so it is total distance 420 divided by 10. So you will get it as 42 kilometers per hour. Yeah. So this is one of the method to solve this problem. So the same problem can also be solved in other method, or we say that as formula. So in this case, we know that distance is same for both these things. So whenever distance is same, whenever the distance is same, and they have only mentioned the speed of the given things, and if they have asked for average speed, so average speed can be calculated using a formula which is like 2xy divided by x plus y. So in this case, x and y are given speeds, two given speeds. So if I try to place it, so 2 into 30 is one of the speed, and other speed is like 70, and divided by 30 plus 70. So you will get it as 4200 divided by 100. Your value is 42 kilometer per hour. That will be your average speed. Yeah. Whenever they ask for an average speed with the same distance for two different speeds, so you have to be solving it like this, either using the basic idea of assuming the distance, assuming a distance using the LCM, or else by the formula 2xy divided by x plus y. Yeah, hope you are getting this. And the next problem in which we are going in time, speed, and distance is if you ride your scooter at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour from your house, you will reach your college at 9:05 a.m. If you ride at 30 kilometer per hour, then you will reach at 8:55 a.m. Find the distance between your house and college. So they have asked for distance. So how do we calculate distance, guys? So distance is given by speed into time taken. Yeah. But for this, what they have done is like in the first time when they were traveling, the speed is being like 20 kilometer per hour. They have mentioned the time duration of travel is being not mentioned. Instead of that, reaching time is being mentioned as 9:05 a.m. So usually duration will be given, but in this case, duration is being not given to you. In the second case, if the same person is riding at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour and he will be reaching the destination at 8:55 a.m. itself. So how do we solve this problem? Yeah. So they have asked for distance. Yeah. Uh, so what we do is like based on a understanding, we'll be trying to solve it. So you have three methods of solving this problem. So first one, what we do is like in both the cases, we can see that distance is being same, right? Based on that logic, we solve it. So whenever the distance is same, so what is the connection between speed and timing? For the same distance, we have already seen this. If we are going the connection between speed and time, speed is inversely proportional to time. That means speed increases, time decreases, and time increases. Speed decreases, time increases. So in that case, how do we connect it here? So whenever we go for the inversely proportional things, we try to take the ratio between the values, and the ratio will be inversely proportional. For example, here 20 kilometer per hour and 30 kilometer per hour. So the speed ratio is like 2 is to 3. If we try to go for the ratio between the speeds. So the time ratio should also be inverse of it, which is like 3 is to 2 for sure. So how do we solve it? So when we are solving a ratio, we try to multiply it with x, and we try to assume it 3x is the original time taken when he is traveling at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour, and 2x is the original time taken when he is traveling at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour. And to solve a ratio, they should have given something. Some of the values are difference in values. In this case, they have given in one time he reaches 9:05 a.m. and in other ways, he reaches, if the speed is increased, he reaches at 8:55 a.m. That means difference in their timing is like what, 10 minutes. So difference in this units is like 3x and 2x. So difference is like 1x. So from that we can say 1 unit is equal to 10 minutes. So obviously in the first case, 3 times of x, 3 units, so it should have been like 30 minutes. And in the second case it is like 2 into 2x, which is like 2 units, so it is like going to be like 20 minutes time duration. Yeah. So whichever timing or whichever speed you go for, so you will be getting the answer. So distance is going to be like somewhat speed 20 into, in the first case it is like 30 minutes. So if I'm going for the distance, so this is in terms of kilometer per hour and this is in terms of minutes. Either try to convert it completely in terms of minutes or in terms of hours. So I try to convert it in terms of hours. So dividing it by 60 will give me a distance as 10 kilometer. And in the second way, if I'm trying to solve it, second values, so which is like 30 kilometer per hour into 20 minutes. So here also I have to convert this in terms of hours. So dividing it by 60 will give me once again 10 kilometers. So in both the cases, I'll be getting the same distance, what, 10 kilometer. Yeah. So this is one method of solving it by using a logic of speed is inversely proportional to time. So how do we calculate another way? So once again, distance is given by speed into time. So another way of solving this is quite simple. So we know that speed in the first case into time duration will give me the distance. So in first case, speed is going to be like 20 kilometer per hour into time duration. I don't know the original time. So for example, if I have traveled at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour, second case I'm taking. So if I'm taking X minutes, so this will give me a distance. And in the first case, it is like if I'm traveling at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour, so I'll be traveling for a timing of 10 minutes extra, which is like 9:05. So X plus 10 minutes, which is once again equal to the same distance. So in this case, both the distance are being seen. So I try to convert this as divided by 60 so that it will be converted as hours. So divided by 60. And we can say that 30 into x by 60 should be equivalent to 20 into x plus 10 by 60. And in this equation only one unknown is there, which is x. And if you try to cross multiply it and find the value of x, you will get the value of x as 20 minutes. Yeah, x value will be like 20 minutes. That means So here we took this as x mean. So this is like 20 minutes, and in the other case, x plus 10 means 30 minutes. So still, once again, they have been asking for the distance. So distance can be calculated by speed into time. In both the ways, if you try to calculate 30 into 20 minutes divided by 60, you will be getting it as 10 kilometer. Yeah. So this is how it can be calculated. So this will be your second method, keeping the distance as same. Based on that logic, we are trying to solve it. And we go for the last method of solving the same problem. So in this case, in one time, what they're saying is like if he's traveling at a speed of 20 km per hour, he will reach the college by 9:05 a.m. And if you ride at a speed of 30 km per hour, you will be reaching at 8:55 a.m. itself. Yeah. So from this, can we say that time difference? So time difference is how much? Which is like nothing but 10 minutes. How do you calculate time here? Time is calculated by distance by speed. So time difference means, can we say this as in the first case time traveled minus second case time traveled. So here once again time is given by this thing means, so distance we try to keep it as d itself, and the speed in the first case as 20 km per hour, and in the second case once again distance we try to keep it as d itself because it is constant, and speed is equal to 30 km per hour. But these things are in terms of kilometer per hour, and here it is in terms of minutes, so this also need to be converted as hour. So by dividing it by 60 you will get it as hour. On cross multiplying this you will get the value of d as 10 kilometer. Hope you guys are getting this. And this were the three different methods in which we can solve the same problem. So one is like based on the logic of speed is inversely proportional to time. So based on that we solved it. And second one is based on keeping the distance being same. And third one is like keeping the time difference. Based on that we try to solve it. Yeah. So we'll move on for the next question. So what they were saying in this question. So walking at 5/7 of your usual speed, you will reach the market 16 minutes late. What is the usual time taken by you to reach the market? So, guys, in this case, do I know the usual speed in which I am traveling? So, I don't know my speed, so I try to keep it as x. Do I know how much distance I am going to travel here? I don't know. So, I try to keep it just like that. And last one, so time duration. So usually if I'm traveling at x kilometer speed, so how much time am I going to get it? So I don't know that also. I try to keep it as t minutes. What they were saying here, walking at 5 by 7th of your usual speed. So 5 by 7th of the usual speed means how much? Out of this x, 5 by 7th of the x, if I am traveling and the distance becomes same, so what about the time duration? So you will reach the market 16 minutes late. So in that case, it is like added time of 16 minutes. So it is like t plus 16 minutes. And they were asking for how much time I usually take to reach the market, this t. So how do I solve it? So for this problem, we'll be going for the logic of distance being same. And if I try to connect between speed and time, speed is inversely proportional to time. So how do I solve it? So I go for the ratio between speeds of these two values. So if I try to go for ratio, so it is like x divided by 5 by 7x, and I'll get it as 1 by 5 by 7. And still I want a proper ratio. So once again, this 7 goes to the top. So it will be like 7 is to 5. That is the speed ratio. And I know that for the same distance, timing is going to be inverse of it, which is like 5 is to 7. So how do I solve a ratio here? 5x, 7x, and the time difference is going to be somewhat like 16 minutes. And if I go for the ratio difference, so it is going to be like 2x. So 2x is nothing but 16 minutes means. So from this we can calculate x value is equal to 8 minutes. And they have asked for original time taken, which is t, and in this case it is like 5x. So if we try to calculate the value of 5x, 5 into 8, you'll get it as 40 minutes. And in the second case it is like 8 into 7, so you'll get it as 56 minutes. Yeah. So in the question they have asked for what is the original time taken or usual time taken to reach the market. So it is like nothing but 40 minutes. So that will be your answer for this one, guys. Yeah. So hope you are clear with the basics of time, speed, and distance. And based on that, what all the problems can be solved. So this is how we can solve the problems for this one. And moving on for the next topic, so which is called as relative speed. So what is relative speed? So usually what happens is like, so for example, this is the distance to be traveled, and one person A is traveling from this point A to B. So based on his speed, you will be calculating the time duration to travel. So if you go for time duration will be like a distance by speed. Yeah. But for example, in the same case, if two persons are traveling, so for example, from opposite end, another person is traveling towards this person at so I try to take it as speed of A person, and in this case speed of B person. So both will be somewhere meeting in the middle. We don't know exactly based on their speeds they will be meeting here, right? So when will they meet it, and what distance from their starting point are they be going to meet it? So such kind of questions can be answered through relative speed. Yeah. So here also we'll be using the same basic formula. Speed is equal to distance by time, but we'll be using in a small different variations or small minor changes. So this is going to be your first question. You are in need of rupees 10,000. For example, I'm saying, and decide to borrow it from your friend who lives 120 kilometers away from your place. You decided to go to his place in your car at an average speed of 40 km per hour to collect it. How long will you take to meet him? And time duration they have asked. For example, this is the distance, and 120 kilometers is the distance between me and my friend. And how, if you are traveling towards him, so you are traveling at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour, so how much time will you meet him? So in this question what we can do is, it is quite simple. So time duration they have asked. So time duration is always given by distance by speed. So in this case, distance is going to be like 120, and speed is going to be like 40 kilometer per hour. So you will get the value as 3 hours. In 3 hours, I will meet that particular person. So case two. So what is this case two? Both of you are traveling towards each other. Your friend is traveling in his bike at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour, and you are traveling at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour. So you are traveling towards your friend, and your friend is traveling towards you at what speed? It is like 20 kilometer per hour. So based on that, you are having two questions. What will be your distance between you and your friend after 1 hour? So shall we see what is happening in the next 1 hour? So in the next 1 hour, what happens? So my speed is like 40 kilometer per hour. So will I will be traveling at least 40 kilometers in this 120 kilometers. And my friend's speed is like 20 kilometer per hour. So he will be also traveling somewhat like 20 kilometers in that same time span. So out of 120 kilometers, I have traveled 40, and he have traveled 20. So what is the remaining distance? So if you try to calculate, you will get it as 60 kilometers. So what will be the distance between you and your friend after an hour? So answer for this is going to be 60. After how much time will you meet your friend? So time duration to meet my friend. So time duration is always given by distance by speed. But the problem is distance is like 120 kilometers. There is no doubt in it. But what about the speed? Which speed in this should I consider it here? Yeah. So which speed should I decide it here? Should I consider my own speed or my friend's speed? Should I go for here? In this case, what happens is like, so we both are traveling, so both of our speed should be calculated. Yeah. So in such case, here the formula will be changed as not just only time is equal to distance by speed. So here it will be converted as relative speed. So what is relative speed? So whenever two persons are traveling in opposite directions, so relative speed is said to be like sum of their speeds, which is like speed of A plus speed of B, and that will be considered and that will be used for the calculations. Whenever they were trying to travel in opposite directions, so sum of their speeds will be their relative speed. And in that case, so what happens here? We will be using relative speed since two persons are traveling in opposite direction. So me, I will be traveling at 40 kilometer per hour, and my friend will be traveling at 20 kilometer per hour. So it is like 120 divided by 40 plus 20. It is like 120 divided by 60, and I can reach, or we both will meet after how many hours? 2 hours. So in 2 hours, we'll be reaching. And moving on for the next case. So same scenario, and case three. So once again, in this case also, it is continued like a 120 kilometers hour distance, and me and my friend. So you and your friend is already on his way to office, which is in the opposite direction. So his office is somewhere in this direction, opposite to this, and he is traveling at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour to his office, and you decided to chase him down and traveling at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour. So what will be your distance between you and your friend after an hour? So after 1 hour, what happens? So in this case, I'll be traveling 40 kilometers. Yeah, in 1 hour. And my friend will be also in traveling, so he will be also covering a distance of 20 kilometers. So he'll be somewhere here. If I try to take the distance between me and my friend after 1 hour, it is going to be like out of 120, 40 kilometers is being reduced, but 20 kilometers is being extended. So it will be like 100 kilometers more to go ahead. So in that case, it is like 100 kilometer will be your answer. After how much time will you meet your friend? So time duration have been asked. So time duration is given by once again distance by speed, and distance is going to be like 120 kilometer overall. But in this case, be clear. So these two persons are traveling in opposite directions. Is it? So these two guys, me and my friend, are traveling in same direction. So in such cases, so whenever we are traveling, we will be using, when two persons are traveling, we will be using relative speed. And in this case, both the persons are traveling in same direction. So same direction means so difference in their speed will be the speed. So if I go for the relative speed, so relative speed will be somewhat between like speed of A minus speed of B, or It is not always like speed of A minus speed of B. It is like speed of B minus speed of A also possible. Yeah. So in that case, who's traveling at faster pace? So it is like 40 minus 20. So it is going to be like 120 divided by 20. So it will take 6 hours to meet that particular person. So after how much time will they meet? So it is given by 6 hours. Yeah. So when two objects A and B are traveling at a speed of SA and SB respectively, their relative speed, when A and B are traveling in the same direction, then their speed will be added. So which is like sum of their speeds SA plus SB. And when both A and B are traveling in, sorry, when both are traveling in same direction, it is going to be like, so difference in the speed. And when both are traveling in the opposite direction, then we'll be saying it as sum of their speeds, which is like SA plus SB. Yeah. So this type of questions will be asked for you guys. So based on that, we'll be trying to answer it. So whenever two persons are traveling, so either we'll be always using relative speed. If they were traveling in same direction, difference in their speed will be their speeds. And if they were traveling in opposite directions, some of their speeds will be used as relative speed. So based on this, you'll be having problems, and they will be asking you. And moving on for the next question. So next topic is like problems based on trains. So problems based on trains. So here also we'll be using the same formula. Speed is equal to distance by time. But once again, for with small modulation, we'll be using it. So over here, the problem can be like this. For example, a train crosses a pole in 10 seconds, which is running at a speed of 72 kilometer per hour, and same train crosses a platform in 30 seconds. What is the length of the platform? So how do we answer this? A train crosses a pole in 10 seconds, which is running at a speed of 72 kilometer per hour, and same train crosses a platform in 30 seconds. What's the length of the platform? So first we try to split this in terms of stage by stage. So for example, I try to take this as a pole and this as the train. So is the pole is going to move? Is the pole going to move? It is not going to move anywhere. It is going to be in a stationary point, and which is going to move? It is only based on the train. It is going to cross it. So train is having a speed of what? 72 kilometer per hour. And if it want to cross this pole, so whenever the train meets at this point or starts meeting it, the time starts. And when will the time end? When this end, so this is the starting point or meeting point, and this is the end of the train. So when the end of the train comes out of it, comes out of the pole like this, then only we can say it as it has crossed that pole. Yes. So what is happening here? So comparing to the length of the train, a pole's length is nothing but a point, right? So in such case, so based on which it is going to cross, so speed of the train only it is going to cross, which is like 72 kilometer per hour. And what is the distance it is going to cross here? So which is like length of the train itself. Can we say it? Because like pole is not going to move, it is going to be stationary point, and this complete from the starting till end we say it as length of the train. So this has to cross it completely. So distance is going to be like length of the train itself. And time taken to cross this pole is given as how much? 10 seconds. And if we try to calculate the distance here, so distance is given by speed into time duration. So which is like 72 into 10. But the problem is this is in terms of kilometer per hour and this is in terms of seconds. So either try to convert everything in terms of meter per second or everything in terms of hours. So since in the second part of the question they have already given in terms of seconds, so it is better to convert this in terms of meter per second. So how do you convert it? Into 5 by 18 will give you a value. So if you try to calculate it, you will get it as 20 meter per second. So in that case, so we'll be using it as 20 into 10. Your resultant value is going to be somewhat 200 meters. So what is this 200 meters? So this is nothing but length of the train itself. So this will be your first case scenario. And what is happening in the second case? So in the second case, so a platform will be of any particular length. So I try to take this as the platform. So platform will have a particular length, and the platform is not going to be moving. So it is going to be in a stationary place. But when the train is approaching in this direction, so this is when the train meets. So this will be the starting point, and This is going to be the end of the train. So this we can say it as length of the train. So when can we say this train has crossed the platform? So can I say it like this? Whenever it reaches like this end reaches this platform here. Can we say it has crossed the platform? No, guys. In such case, you can't say it has crossed the platform. So when can we say it exactly? It has crossed the platform. So whenever the train comes totally out of it, that is like the end of the train is here and the platform is being crossed, then only we can say the train has crossed the platform. So in such case, what is happening here? So based on this train speed only it is going to cross because that is only in movement. So based on that only it is going to cross. So speed of the train once again it is going to be like same 72 kilometer per hour, and we try to convert it in terms of meter per second. So it is like 5 by 18. So it is once again like 20 meter per second. So they have given the time taken to cross the platform as what, 30 seconds. So in that 30-second, what has happened? Can we say that distance is given by speed into time? So if we go for it, in the 30 seconds, it has completely crossed this platform, and once again, it should also cross the length of the train itself. Then only we can say that this train has completely crossed this platform. So whenever in such scenarios, if you are trying to calculate, so the distance to be calculated is nothing but length of the platform plus length of the train. So if you try to go for it, so 20 into 30, so you'll get it as 600 meters. So this distance is nothing but length of the platform plus length of the train. But what is our question? So our question is quite simple. They have asked for the length of the platform. So from the first case, I calculated very easily the length of the train. The second case, I have calculated length of the train plus length of the platform. So from this, if you try to take the difference, you can able to calculate the length of the platform alone. So which is like 600 minus 600 meters minus 200, you'll be getting the length of the platform as 400 meters. So which is like length of the platform plus length of the train minus length of the train. Yeah. So hope you guys are getting this. Yeah. So based on this logic, so it is not only happening for this pole or platform. So whenever they say it as pole or like standing person or like stone, in all cases, so whenever the person is standing, so he is also similar to a point when comparing to the length of the train itself. And even if it's trying to cross a stone, then also it is like it is just a point for the train. So in all such cases, the distance that is going to cross is length of the train itself. And in other mean, platform, so it is not only going to be like a platform, so it can be like a bridge or tunnel or stationary train. So whenever it is like crossing a platform. So platform is going to have a particular length, and whenever we can say it as a crossing a bridge or crossing a tunnel or crossing a stationary train. So in all such cases, it is going to be like crossing a platform or crossing a bridge or crossing a tunnel or crossing a stationary plus stationary train plus length of the train itself. So that is how it is going to work here. Yeah, hope you guys are getting this. So based on this logic, we'll be having few problems which would have been asked in the previous year papers. So this will be your first problem. So what is the time taken by a 90 meters long train traveling at a speed of 18 kilometer per hour to cross a bridge of 270 meters? So whenever such questions are being given, try to write down what is the contents they have given. So in this case, length of the train they have mentioned as 90 meters, and speed of the train is 18 kilometer per hour to cross a bridge of length. So length of the bridge as 270 meters. So they have asked for time taken to cross it. So time taken to cross, time is always given by distance by speed. So what is the distance? So as we have already seen, so if there is a bridge which is having a particular length, and if the train also need to cross this bridge, there will be a particular length of the train. So in such cases, so the distance used here will be nothing but, so it has to cross the length of the bridge plus length of the tunnel. So that is called as distance. And in case of speed, so here only speed in which we are using here is speed of the train. So that will be calculated. So it is like speed of the train. So in this case, 270 meters plus 90 meters. But when you go for this speed of train is in terms of kilometer per hour, but this are in terms of meters. So the unit conversion has to happen. So I try to convert this in terms of meter per second, which is like into 5 by 18, and which will give me a value as 5 meter per second as the speed. So if I try to calculate it, so 360 divided by 5, you'll get it as 72 seconds. Yeah, hope you are getting this. And moving on for the next question. A train 90 meters long is traveling at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour. A man is running at a speed of 5 kilometer per hour in a direction opposite to the motion of the train. So, what should be the time taken by train to cross the man? So, in this case, what they are trying to say, so length of the train as 90 meters, and speed of the train as 40 kilometer per hour, and a man is running at a speed of 5 kilometer per hour. So speed of the man is 5 kilometer per hour, and he is trying to come in the opposite direction to the motion of the train. So in that case, if I try to imagine what has been happening there, so I try to take this as train, and the train is running in this direction, and this is the speed of the train, and this is the length of the train, and a person who is coming in the opposite direction, so that means he'll be traveling in this direction, and this is the speed of the man. Yeah. So on how much time will time taken, what will be the time taken by the train to cross the man? So time taken they have asked. So how do we calculate time taken? So time taken is being divided given by distance divided by speed. So in this case, what is the distance? So whenever we are trying to compare between a train's length and a man's length, man is just going to be like a point and it is going to cross. So in such case, the distance to be covered in this is just length of the train itself, nothing more than that. And when we go for the speed, so here two things are traveling. One is like speed of the train, and other is like speed of the man. Man is also traveling. So if two things are traveling in the previous subtopic itself, we would have seen. So we'll be always using relative speed. So how do we use relative speed here? So relative speed is nothing but whenever they were trying to come up in opposite directions, we will go for sum of their speeds. Sum of their speeds means speed of the train plus speed of the man. So here we will be using relative speed since both of them are traveling. So speed of train plus speed of the man. So which is like 90 meters length of the train divided by 40 plus 5. But the problem is here this value is in terms of kilometer per hour. So how do we go for it? Either we can convert completely this meter in terms of kilometers, or else this in terms of meter per second. So instead of doing it separately after adding this, we try to convert it. So it is like 45 kilometer per hour into, so converting this kilometer per hour in terms of meter per second means into 5 by 18. So if you try to calculate, so answer is like 7.2 seconds. So within a time span of 7.2 seconds, the man will be crossing the train. Yeah. Hope you guys are clear with this. How the logic is being applied here. And moving on for the next topic, problems based on boats and streams. So last topic in terms of time, speed, and distance. So problems based on boats and streams. So before getting into the problem, we try to understand what is boson streams, how that is being applied, and how that can be used in problems. For example, we are having a mountain, and in that mountain there is a river flowing. So we can say it as river is flowing. So in which direction will the river flow? So river will be flowing in a mountain always from the top to the bottom, which is like only one direction, from the top to the bottom. And we can say it as river, or else this can be also called as streams. Do stream have speed? Is, for example, if you are throwing a wooden tree in the river, obviously what happens? It will push the tree towards the bottom of the river. How it has been pushing it? Because of this speed, or because of this force, we can say. So in that case, we say the speed of stream as stream speed, and we represent it by st. And in this river, a boat is being running, or we can say in a boat they will be riding. So in how many directions a boat can be ridden in the river? So it can be like two directions. If I am traveling from top to the bottom, so this is one direction. So we can say that as downstream, because I am traveling towards the bottom. And in other case, if I'm at the bottom of the river, I want to travel up. So I'm traveling towards the top means we say that as upstream. And do boats have speed? Yes, it will be. So we say this as speed of boat as SB. Yeah. And upstream speed, we just mention it with D, and upstream speed, it is like U. So what is this upstream speed and downstream speed? Because you are traveling in boat, the boat speed is going to be constant. Since you are traveling up and down, is the speed going to be different? Yes, guys, it is going to be different, because think of this scenario. If I'm traveling from the top to the bottom, so top to the bottom means the boat will be traveling at a particular speed. So boat speed will be there, and on the same time, water also will be flowing in the same direction, which means water is going to push me from the back. That means an excess force is being generated, and based on that force, I'll be reaching my destination a little bit earlier, very easily. Yeah. So in such cases, whenever we say it as downstream speed, so D is being given by speed of boat plus speed of stream. And when we are trying to go upstream, what happens in that scenario? When we are going upstream, so whenever we try to go upstream, so this will be going in the up means, so boat will try to go up, but there is a water force which is like stream force, which is trying to push it in the opposite direction, and it will try to reduce that particular speed. So that is said to be as In such cases, when we are traveling upstream, so it is like speed of the boat will try to go up, but the speed of the stream will try to reduce it. So in such case, we try to subtract but between the speed of the boat minus speed of the stream. Yeah, hope you are getting this. So in such cases, so if you think very much carefully, so downstream, what is happening between boat and stream? So boat is also traveling in this direction and the stream is also traveling in this direction. So both are traveling in same direction. Yeah. And in upstream, boat is traveling in one direction and stream is traveling in the opposite directions. So where you make the mistake? So in relative speed, we would have seen that. So in relative speed, we would have seen that when two things are traveling in opposite directions, we would have add their speeds, which is like sum of their speeds. And in terms of relative speeds, when things are traveling in same directions, we would have gone for difference in their speeds. But this case is quite different since it is boats and streams. So since they were traveling in same direction, so here we will be adding their speeds, or some of these speeds will be done here. And if these things are going in opposite directions, so then it will be like difference in their speeds will be calculated. So that will be the speed, and based on that you will be calculating it. Yeah. So don't try to get confused with relative speed and boats and streams. So that is going to be like little bit opposite idea. Once you understand how what is happening there, it is going to be very much easier. Yeah. Hope you are getting this. And once again, basically the basic formula is going to be the same thing. Speed is equal to distance by time. So whatever is happening here, we'll be calculating using the same formula. Speed is equal to distance by time. If they're saying it as upstream speed, we will be using upstream speed as speed of the boat minus speed of the stream. And when they were saying it as downstream speed, so we'll be using downstream speed as speed of the boat plus stream or speed of the stream. Yeah. So based on that logic, we'll be using it and solving it. So you can ask me one more question. So there will be a doubt that, sir, you said difference between these two things. So what will happen? Can we write it as speed of the stream minus speed of the boat? Is it okay? So this cannot happen, guys, because think of this scenario. Speed of the stream is higher. What happens in this case? If stream speed is very much higher means, so more than boat speed, so obviously the force in the opposite direction is going to be very much higher, so that the boat will be completely can't travel upstream, it will be going downstream, or else with that particular force, so the boat can be destroyed even. So such things cannot happen, so it will be always speed of the boat minus speed of the stream. Yeah, moving on to the problems. A boat can travel at a speed of 13 kilometer per hour in still water. And yeah, so how do you calculate boat speed? So boat speed will be always based on still water. So what is the still water? So still water is nothing but in this, how can you calculate the speed of the boat? If you are traveling in upstream, you can't say that as the upstream boat speed, because an opposite directional force is trying to come, and that is going to reduce the speed of the boat. And in the other case, so the speed of the boat is going to be added in downstream because the stream is going to push it from the back. So in such scenarios, you can't say upstream or downstream as speed of the boats. So when can you say boat speed? So boat speed can always be mentioned in terms of still water. So still water is something like uh, a lake. Whenever a lake is there, so the boat which is traveling at a particular speed, so that is said to be as boat speed. Yeah, so that only be always boat speed is being mentioned in terms of still water. Yeah. Moving on for the questions. A boat can travel at a speed of 13 kilometer per hour in still water, and if the speed of stream is 4 kilometer per hour, find the time taken by the boat to travel 68 kilometers downstream. So they were asking for time taken for downstream. So how can you calculate time taken? So time taken is always given by distance by speed. So what is the distance here? They have said this distance is 68 kilometers. So distance is like 68 divided by speed. So in case of speed, as I have already mentioned, so here we will be going for downstream speed, speed of downstream. So which is like speed of the boat plus speed of the stream. So in that case, 68 divided by, so 13 kilometer per hour is the boat speed, and stream speed they have mentioned it as 4 kilometer per hour. So which is like plus 4. So your answer is going to be like 68 divided by 17. You will get it as 4 hours. So in 4 hours time duration, it will reach the destination. And moving on for the next question. A motorboat travels 40 kilometer downstream in 5 hours and 30 kilometers upstream in 6 hours. Find the speed of the stream in kilometer per hour. So what is this? This is it be as distance for downstream is how much? 40 kilometer, and time taken for downstream is like 5 hours, and distance for upstream is like 30 kilometer, and time taken for upstream is like 6 hours, and they have asked for stream speed. So based on this logic, how do you solve this? So two things are being given. One is like the distance, and other is like time. So with distance and time, we can able to calculate the speed. So in this case, first one, so it is like speed of downstream can be calculated, which is nothing but d. So if you go for it, you'll be like distance by speed, so which is like 40 divided by 5, and you will be getting it as 8 kilometer per hour. And be clear, guys, in this case, whenever I say it as downstream speed, it is like boat speed plus stream speed. In the second case, speed of upstream can be calculated, which is mentioned in terms of u, and this is like 30 divided by 6, and which will be getting it as 5 kilometer per hour, and it is like speed of boat minus speed of stream. So for this, we are having two equations: speed of stream plus speed of boat. When we add it, we'll get it as 8 kilometer per hour, and when we subtract it, we'll be getting it as 5 kilometer per hour. And two equations, two unknowns. If you try to solve it, you will get the speed of boat and speed of stream. So if you exactly try to solve it, you will be getting the value as 6.5 kilometer per hour as the speed of the boat, and speed of the stream is 1.5 kilometer per hour. And I hope you guys are getting this. So what they have asked in the question, so they have asked for the speed of the stream, so which is nothing but 1.5 kilometer per hour. Yeah. So that's it, guys. So this were the questions we would have gone with in the problems of time, speed, and distance. So we'll be seeing a few more questions based on this. Yeah. So try to answer this question fast, guys. So this similar question we would have already done it. So on this question, what they're saying, walking at 4 by 7th of his usual speed, Ram gets late by 15 minutes. Find the time he would have taken walking at his usual speed. So do I know the usual speed? I don't know. So I try to keep it as x. Do I know the distance? How much he is going to travel? I don't know. And do I know the time? So I try to keep it as t, and distance as d itself. And when he is walking at 4 by 7th of his usual speed means, so it is like 4 by 7x, and the distance is going to be same in both the cases, and the time taken is like 15 minutes late. That means 15 minutes extra, which is like t plus 15 minutes. Yeah. So how do we solve it? So we have already seen this logic. So whenever it is like same distance, so if you try to connect the relationship between speed and time, speed is always inversely proportional to time. So in that case, so if you try to go for the ratio between the speed, so it is like x is to 4 by 7x, which is like 4 1 by 1 is to 4 by 7. Or else if you go for a proper ratio, so it is like 7 is to 4, you will get it. And in the other case, the time ratio will be like 4 is to 7, which is directly inverse of it. So in such case, 4x, 7x. So if we go for time difference between these two numbers, so time difference is nothing but 15 minutes. And if we try to solve the ratio, so the unit will be like 3x or 3 units. So x value becomes 5 minutes. So in that case, 4x is nothing but 20 minutes and 7x is nothing but 35 minutes. So what they have asked in the question is find the time he would have taken walking at his usual speed. So usual speed is nothing but x. We took it and they have asked for that particular timing t. So which is nothing but 20 minutes. So 20 minutes is going to be your answer for this one. And from the answer option, we'll be marking it as, so we'll be marking it as B option. So that will be your answer, guys. Yeah, try to look into the question and answer this one fast, guys. A similar question. So what they're saying for this question. Starting from my office, I reach the house 20 minutes late. If I walk at 3 km per hour. So the speed in which he's traveling is like 3 km per hour. And the time duration they were not particularly mentioning, but they were saying it as 20 minutes late. So can I write it as plus 20 minutes? If I usually take x minutes, so it is like plus 20 minutes, and within the bracket I try to write it as late. And in the other case, instead, if I walk at 4 km per hour speed, I reach the house 15 minutes earlier. Usually, if he takes X minutes, so it is like 15 minutes earlier means minus 15 minutes in the bracket to represent it. I write it as 15 minutes early. So, how far is the distance from his home? And they were asking for the distance, and in both the cases, distance is being same. So how do you calculate distance? So distance can be calculated using speed into time. But the problem is we don't have uh, exact time duration to calculate it here. So as we know, whenever the distance is being same, so we based on this logic, speed is inversely proportional to time. We try to calculate it. So speed ratio is going to be like 3 is to 4, and time ratio is going to be like 4 is to 3. So to solve it, 4x and 3x, and difference between the ratio is going to be like x, and the difference between the timings, x plus 20 minutes, which is like late, and x minus 15 minutes, which is like early. So if we go for the difference between these two values, you will be getting it as 35 minutes. So that means we can say it as x is equal to 35 minutes. In the first case, if he is traveling at a speed of 3 kilometer per hour, he will be traveling for 4x time, which is like 4 into 35, which is going to be like 140 kilometers, sorry, 140 minutes. And in the other case, it is like 3x time, so which is like 105 minutes. And they have asked for the distance, so distance is given by speed into time. So speed is nothing but 3 into time duration is nothing but 140, and divided by 60 to convert that 140 in terms of hours, so which is nothing but 7 kilometers. Either you can go for the first value, and if you are going for even the second value, which is like 4 kilometer per hour and 105 minutes, so here also you need to convert this as in terms of uh, hours, so divided by 60. So you'll be getting it as 105 divided by 60. Once again, there also it is like 7 kilometers. So from the answer option, we'll be marking it as C option, 7 kilometers. Yeah, hope you guys are getting this. So similarly, if you try to solve other problems, you can easily able to calculate using the logics in which we have mentioned. And with this, we are going to close the session, guys. If you have any doubts, you can let me know so that I can try in the upcoming sessions. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you for your response. Have a great day.